So, what's what is up? So, this is interesting to say the least. So I had an 80 to 80% seize already after my seizure. So now it was only a 60% chance to begin with of it working, but wow. Yeah, right. So I only got a week. Now, this is why this is going to be an interesting talk. Uh, Medical marijuana. All right. I've been smoking weed since I was 12. I am 46. Uh, After surgery, that week before I just had my seizure, that about 7 days, I didn't smoke, and it was one of the best, as you saw in my other things, one of the best I ever felt, right? And it wasn't drugs. Like when you go under the knife, um, you're not on like a lot of like it takes you a week to come out of it. You're pretty sober after. So when I got sent home, I wasn't on anything. So I wasn't on anything from doctor ordained. I didn't drink and I didn't smoke weed for like the first time in for like 30 years. So uh it was strange, and again I went to a party. I felt great and I was seeing people and they were surprised to see me because they knew I was getting a part of my brain cut out. And again, just what people is. Everyone has their own interpretation of that. So, yeah, so I felt great. And then when my friends were here, we were playing guitar, and I got it. I got the feeling, and I knew, and I talked to them, I was like, oh, guys, I'm starting to. And, for anyone that's ever had a seizure, you can't talk. If the first thing to go is the talking, and then you get the. And for me, it's these like fingers start to twitch. So it's coming. And they were here, and two guitar players and one wife, and we, we're jamming, we're playing in this room, uh, and I got, and now of course they don't know what's going on. They don't. It wasn't long. They don't know anything they're playing, and I'm in that corner, and I just stand up, and I'm like, guys, I think I'm gonna have a seizure, and my finger starts to do the twitch. So I sat down. Now, again, my seizures are only tonic-clonics. So I only ever go all the way into the darkness and just wake up in a hospital or wake up in an ambulance, right? So this one, it was just a slow, what they call the deja vu, the aura beforehand. It was just a slow, big one. And I'm doing oh yeah, all right. So I sit down in the corner and they're watching me and, and they're just continuing on. And that's as far as I got, thank God. So, but then they said, so I asked what time it was, apparently 8 times. I never jumbled though. I didn't like blah, 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 blah. But it was definitely off and odd. And I was just like, kept looking to the left and be like, what, how long was I out? And then come back and they're talking. So now, does that mean the surgery wasn't a success? I don't know. I know I had the greatest week of my life. But again, I think it was more being off the pills. So now here, I gotta try to structure this right. So I did do it on purpose. I wanted to test. So I took I take 2 pills a day. I don't want to go naming them because I mean there's hundreds of them, Christ. And again, they're not paying me. So so again, the one I was on, it was only 2 a day, which is cool because the last one was like 3. Just because of the way it was only a 100 milligram tablet, so it was like 150 and 100. It was a pain in the ass. This was just 2 a day, one in the morning, one at night. So after the surgery, I'm like, all right, I really kind of want to see what this if it worked. So you're just supposed to hang out for 6 months on the same pills, and you're like, all right, well, how the hell do I know if it worked or not? You know, the pills are the reason I'm not taking this. I'm not having the seizures. So I just had a part of my brain cut out. How the hell am I going to know if it worked if I'm still taking the pills? You know, that's my logic. So I did stop taking them. Not all of them. I just took, like I said, instead of 2 a day, I took 1 a day. And sure enough, within 7 days, that's what I'm talking about. The 80% C's when my friends are here. So what does that mean? Does it mean medical marijuana is real? Again, I've been smoking weed since 12 when it was just dirt and seeds. It wasn't this gorgeous, blooming, beautiful nugs, you know? Like, oh God. We actually had kind bud, if you remember that. So we had swag weed and then kind bud. And everyone was like, what the hell are you talking about? $60? How the hell, what? Give me my $25 eighth, right? I'm not old, so yeah. So I got to live through this change, and now it's medicine is hilarious because all these people I know are getting medical marijuana for anything. They're like, I cry. They're like, here. But seizures is one of the real things they're testing. So it's like really hard. I can't get it because it's still being checked on. But if I just said I'm sad, or like one of the 300 other things my friends have said, they get them like nothing. So it's hilarious to me that it's that set up. Luckily, I can still find it. You know, it's on the ground everywhere. I don't know how I keep finding it, but luckily I find it for like normal prices. So either way, all that to say, it was wild as hell. Scary as shit because the friends that were here never seen it before. They'd never seen again, I didn't go, it was only 80%, but they could tell it was off. So they were nervous, right? And then of course when they left, I cried, you know, saying goodbye. I'm like, fucking cried and shit. So anyway, all that to stray from the subject. So medical marijuana, I don't know, right? Again, I smoked it since I was 12. It was just dirt weed. But sure enough, 46, a week of not smoking medical marijuana or Philadelphia swag weed, whatever we call it. You know, I had an 80% C's, right? So now, uh, yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea, but it's very interesting. So now I get to tell my doctors, like, hey guys, you know that medical card I can't get because you're actually doing the research. I didn't just say I'm sad. It's interesting. I'm interested to find out. I'm straying from the subject as usual. I don't even know what the subject was, other than it's a really interesting spot. So, all that to say, it is heartbreaking. You know, that week was the greatest week of my life. Like I said, friends had a big party, not for me. They just had a party. So I got to go to a dance party. I got to see my family members. I did have to skip a wedding, but that's unfortunate. So yeah, right. So that week, and then all of a sudden having a 80% C's, the deja vu and all that. Man. And I think I had one through the night too, because I remember like opening my eye and just having the end of the C's, but then like I had a little bump on my tongue. So I think I bit my tongue. All that to say, now I have to try to stay positive. I'm not gonna have insurance soon. And it got, I got a part of my brain removed, and I had an 80% seizure after. Now, hopefully, like I said, since I went down on the one pill, hopefully it was just the withdrawal of the pills. Because again, the pills don't want you to be fixed. Now they need the money. So the pills just like keep you alive, and keep the problem, you still have the problem. And then they say, oh, look, see, we fixed you, right? That's how I see the medical industry, honestly. Whatever, however you want to say it. So now what the flip? So I'm in an interesting spot, to say the least. It would have been nice to have more than a week of seizure-free bliss, just skipping through the clouds. And again, not drugs. The opposite of drugs. No drugs for the first time. So maybe it was too much of a shock. I don't know. So now what do we do? Right? I live in Philadelphia. We don't have medical marijuana. You know. Luckily I keep finding it on the ground everywhere. So, I haven't really run out of weed, but I don't know what to do. Again, I liked that week how happy and just up I was. Now, it was mostly just, again, not being stoned, but it was also just hope. It was pure hope. Just came out of heavy brain surgery to stop having seizures. So, you're just like, woohoo! And that's how you live your life. Like you said, when you have seizures, you can't think about it. It just sits here and you do all you can. But again, if you just think about it, everywhere you go, like, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm going to have a seizure. Can't do that. I'm going to have a seizure. Can't do that. Your life is going to, you are not going to have a life. So you do everything you can, all the precautions, but you still just live your life with that little thing on your back of your brain. Uh, I guess literally, figuratively. This was where mine was. So, again, I still got my hair, which is cool. But now it's interesting, you know. So, like I said before, right? So now I think the experiment is going to be before. Remember, after the seizure, I stopped all weed and only took one out of the two doses of the real drugs, and almost had a seizure. So now I'm going to try no weed and my regular dosed marijuana or my regular dosed medical pills and see what happens. You know what I mean? Uh, I guess logically, Spock logic, if it happens while I'm not on my weed, but on my regular medical billion-dollar industry drugs, then it is the weed, you know? But all that is also to say, this could just be my age. When I was young, I had migraines all the time. I had migraines a lot until I hit like puberty. And then, like, I guess just the way my brain changed, I stopped having them. Boom, just went away. Right? Now, all of a sudden, I'm 45, 46, my body's changing again, but I had to hit 40. All of a sudden, I hit 40 again, and I just started having seizures randomly. So it could just literally be this weird evolution of my brain growing, you know? Now, there's no way to ever figure that out, but that's kind of my theory, that it's just whatever the next phase of my unfortunate brain. So now what do we do, right? Yeah. I'm not gonna have insurance long. So yeah, I mean, I guess it made up for me. I'm not gonna have insurance. So I had brain surgery. I gave it a shot. I had an 88% seize after. I'm hoping it was just again the withdrawal from the billion-dollar industry drugs. But none of that does that. How is that gonna make me feel? Because I'm gonna be off insurance soon. So I don't know what these pills cost, but they ain't free. Uh, yeah, so whatever. I guess I can wrap it up now. Uh, Medical marijuana, right? Wild as hell. Or as you know, if you're my age, as you used to know what it's called, weed. Uh, yeah. So I'll keep trying to chart it for everybody because it's interesting. Again, I'm pretty happy. So uh, it's interesting to be so upbeat because you're not high on marijuana, but the less you kind of saw that the lack of marijuana is why you had an 88% seizure 7 days after surgery. You know what I mean? Like, woo! La, 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 la. I can't figure it out. So, unfortunately, I still got to take pills, which suck. Uh, yeah, it just sucks. You know what I mean? Again, they give you. This is my fourth one. You saw if you watch anything else on my other ones. This is my fourth one. Uh, when you look online for anything on like Facebook groups and stuff, mostly that's what they talk about. They just talk about like what drugs is everybody on. Like, hey, this, that. They're like, oh, well, this made me do this, and they're like, how about Vimpat or how about lamotrigine or Keppra Rage. Everybody knows about Keppra Rage, right? That's one of the biggest ones. That was like the first one I had. So for some reason they start out with Keppra. It seems like almost everybody, but we're not here to name bash drugs. They all suck. They all rearrange your brain so you don't have seizures, but then you can't be yourself. So you just kind of, and you don't really notice it. It's more like other people tell you. They're like, man, they mention all this patterns. You're like, oh, well, gee, interestingly enough, they changed my pills 3 months ago. And they're like, okay. So, you know yourself, you learn, you're like, oh, doesn't mean you have control over it, but you kind of understand. You're like, all right, I can see that was probably more of the pill than a genuine thought. So, all that to say, it was a great week. I wish it was longer, but now what do I do? Do I get surgery again? I don't think I'm gonna have time for the surgery. I mean, time for the insurance to have it again. But say there's a miracle where the insurance, I still have the insurance, or whatever. Say the money's not an issue, and they come up with a way to have my seizure or a way to have a surgery. You know what I mean? Do I want them poking around in there again? Again, I gave it a shot, and people cut a piece of my brain out, and I still have seizures. It seems like I still have seizures because I had an 88% seizure, but it could have been just withdrawal from the pharmaceutical drug, and I don't actually have seizures. Right? Wow. So that's why I have to live for a little while. It's exhausting. Thank you for listening. I wish it was more scot free, but yeah, that was a great week. Thank you, everybody. Hope I helped somebody again.